guy hitting behind Jack Caglione is Ashton Wilson.
And Ashton Wilson, one of the best stories in college baseball, did not have a hit entering the month of May. 0 hits. And then was the regional MVP in Stillwater, now batting third. And he will get plenty of chances to drive in runs as they tend to walk Cags.
Facing Dom Fritton, sophomore left-hander, who is second on this NC State team in innings pitched. Freshman All-American last year, preseason All-American this year, but an ERA that's up from where it was last season.
Yeah, I tell you what, he had a really good start in the regional. He only gave up 2 runs in 5 innings of work against South Carolina. Now, Georgia hit him hard in his last time out. He gives up 7 earned runs in just 3 innings of work. Heavy on the fastball. You see the usage at 73%, curveball, changeup, and a slider. But he hides the ball well. Got a little bit more extension than the average left-hander, so that fastball that's going to average about 91, 92 actually plays a little bit better than that. He'll do most of his work with his fastball. Matter of fact, 53 of his 69 strikeouts have come on that 4-seam fastball.
We are down to 7 teams in the Men's College World Series. Winner stays alive and plays Wednesday. Fritton's first is a heater at 92 for strike 1 to Cade Kurland. Sophomore second baseman from Tampa, second-year starter, who nearly had a game-tying home run in the wee hours of Saturday for Florida in its opener against Texas A&M. But the Gators fell in the end 3-2. Florida hit just 1 for 11 in that game with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, it was one of those odd games where A&M was in command the whole time. And then Florida just hung around, and next thing you know, it's a 1-run game, and Cade Kurland hits that ball late, and you're going, wait a second, Gator's about to steal this thing. But fortunately for the Aggies, Jace Laviolette was playing right field.
We asked Kevin O'Sullivan about it today, and he said, oh yeah, I thought it was getting out. And as every coach here does, watching the wind, he said the wind had just shifted a bit from where it was for about 3 or 4 innings when it was not blowing at all. 2-2 on Kurland. And Sully said to us, if Jace Laviolette is not 6'6",
might be different.
We're playing tonight.
That's right. Well, you know, and if you go back and look at that game, the Gators had a lot of opportunities against the Aggies, runners in scoring position. Only 1 for 11 in that game, so they had some chances.
Ground ball right at Matt Hebner. Gobbles it up, and there's 1 away for Dom Fritton. Jack Caglione, we showed you, projected as the 4th overall pick with that 80 grade raw power in a sensational season. 2 for 3 with a walk, got hit by a pitch, and had a double that came off his bat Saturday at 117 miles an hour.
And the most impressive thing about Cags is the improvement year over year. Yes, the home run total is the same, but that is the only thing from a prospect standing that has remained the same. Pitch recognition, swing and miss, quality of the bat, everything has really jumped this year.
What's he got, like 6 strikeouts against left-handed pitching this year? That's unbelievable.
Compared to 18 home runs.
Yeah, he's slugging over 1,000 against lefties. Is that good? The numbers versus left-handers really are hard to grasp, but I just think overall, last year he struck out 18% of the time. This year, 8% of the time.
Facing Dom Fritton. Up the ladder, and he strikes out Caglione at 93, so there's number 7.
Hey now. Fritton wasn't intimidated at all by Jack Caglione. He just ripped it, 4-seam fastball, and ripped it right up to the top shelf and gets it by. And you see that ball, that swing just underneath that baseball. And Fritton's got a little bit of carry through the zone with that 4-seam fastball. When he elevates it like that, that's what you're going to see. A lot of swings just underneath the ball.
2 swings and misses at bat on high fastballs against Cags. You can tell very uncomfortable at bat right there.
And now Ashton Wilson gets hit by a first pitch slider that darted away from Dom Fritton. So the Gators have a base runner.
We don't know how long Fritton's going to be out there, but the matchup to watch in this ball game is definitely how he does against the left-handers, because part of the reason I think he gets the start today is lefties are slugging 350 points less and hitting 115 points less against Fritton than righties. And you look at this Florida lineup, Caglione, Shelton, so many of their scariest dudes are left-handed.
I think if NC State gets 5 out of Fritton, they'll be happy with that. He's only averaged 4 2/3 per start through his 16 starts this year.
This is Colby Shelton, the Alabama transfer who is settled in at shortstop. And one of those vaunted bats in the Gators lineup, and a lefty indeed. We talked to Elliott Avent this morning, and he said if the riding fastball is good enough and if it's in the zone enough, then they'll go with Fritten. They felt like he had a better chance to be dominant against this Florida lineup.
Yeah, if his fastball's on and he's attacking towards top shelf, top of that zone, he can be good. But for the year, I mean, he throws that fastball nearly 70% of the time, so he has done a lot of work on that heater.
And that hits Colby Shelton up and in with a heater that leaked. And so 2 quick outs and then 2 hit batters for Dom Fritten.
That's the only knock on Fritten, really. The stuff is good, but if you look at the base on balls, sometimes the command can waver a little bit. He came in with 44 walks in just 71 innings of work.
He's got to deal with 2 on against the first baseman, Luke Heyman, sophomore who's draft eligible, a Florida native. And there was some decision for NC State on who it would start today. Dom Fritten or one of the veterans, Logan Whitaker. We asked Elliott Avent about that choice, and he said it was tempting to go with Whitaker. You see right there. But Elliott said we've done it in this order all season, so we're going to stick with it. And he actually met with his pitching coach, Clint Chrysler, yesterday, and they had a discussion at the hotel about it. Elliott said that about 8 people came over, just fans and probably family members, saying, who are you going to start?
Right.
And there were votes in each category.
Well, we saw this from Elliott a couple of years ago. He doesn't change a whole lot, and they've had a lot of success. I mean, look, they're 20-10 in their last 30 games. I guess the way he looks at it is I'm going to dance with the one that got me.
And that one is Dom Fritten, who blows 93 past Heyman and leads 2 with a couple Ks for NC State in the first. Let's get you the NC State batting order, brought to you by Capital One. And Ben told you about the Smash Brothers, and Alec Makarevich has 14 hits to lead everyone in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and the power comes from those top 4 dudes. You look at the first 4 guys in this order, and it's 14 of their 18 postseason home runs. So Makarevich right there in the middle of it. But for Cags, it's going to be very interesting to see if he can start sharp, because they ask a lot of you with the top of this order.
2 starts so far in the NCAA tournament, and Jack Caglione and Florida 11-4, Ben, when he starts this year.
Yeah, he seems to put some offense up when he's pitching, but he hasn't been great. I mean, you go back to his last 3 starts, the ERA is 7.6 over his last 3 starts. So he's given up some run. The good news for him, when he pitches, Florida typically puts some runs on the scoreboard. See the walks, circle those walks, 48 of them. That can be an issue for Cags from time to time, but a little bit less than 50% use on that fastball. Heavy on that changeup, especially to the right-handed hitters, and he'll show you a slider, an occasional cutter as well.
With the wind really whipping here on this Monday afternoon, he starts out with 91, up high to Eli Serrano. We'll keep tabs on that Caglione velo. Of course, he's known for his 2-way exploits. Last year running it up around 100. That one comes in at 90. On Serrano, 6'5" center fielder and sophomore, who last year was the first baseman as a true freshman starter, but wanted to play in center this year.
Well, the early indication of the fastball velocity is more of what we saw last week, which is clearly down from his season average.
And so he drew so many headlines as the guy for being able to, hit it 119 and then throw it 100. This is how his fastball velo has been all year. You see right there in the super, below 91. First time in his career he's had to start averaging below 92. It's odd.
It is.
Some people say, well, he's tired, but I look at it. I mean, look, he's just now getting to where he was last year. So he threw 74 2/3 last year. He comes in at 72 2/3 this year. So actually a couple innings less than what he performed with last year.
Serrano lifts this one into the wind in center, and Michael Robertson for the first out.
Cags not necessarily known as a fly ball pitcher, but today, good day to get flat balls.
Man, with the wind blowing in right now, this is a pitcher's dream right here, to have that kind of wind shoot straight in. And this is where you can afford to be a little bit more aggressive over the white part of the plate when you fall behind, because it's going to take a bolt to get it out of here today.
Windiest game we've seen, right?
Yes.
I think so.
And it seems to be the most directly in-game wind we've seen. For the most part, you get a little bit of cross-field action today. It just hitting the hitters right in the eyeballs.
That's Mrs. Cags, Joanne, watching son Jack on the mound against Garrett Pennington, who's quickly down 0-2.
That's the changeup right there. And that's the one he's going to use off speed. That's probably his preference against a right-handed hitter, off speed-wise.
How good is his changeup?
It's really good when he gets it over the white part of the plate. The problem with Kag sometimes is he doesn't get it over the white part of the plate. Because, I mean, the difference in speed is a lot. That's what gets most hitters. I mean, the changeup's going to come in at 79, 80 miles an hour. Fastball 92, 90. So that's a big adjustment for a hitter.
That's 93 inside that hits Pennington, and he's on. Danny.
Yeah, guys, you mentioned Mom. I saw her before the game. She's nervous. Last year, nervous too. And she said, but listen, you know, these guys making it here extends our time getting to watch them play. But Mom is nervous. Dad is not here yet. He was working, so hopefully Dad can get here to see this.
Mom looks nervous.
Yes, understandably.
I'd like to give her a hug and tell her, your kid's really good.
It's going to be all right.
It's going to be okay.
It's going to be all right.
1 out, 1 on for Caglione facing Alec Makarevich.
It's really going to be all right in about 3 weeks when the draft rolls by.
Deep breath.
Fifth-year senior, the East Carolina transfer, bounces one foul. That was close.
Cags has handled everything like a champ. You know, I mean, all the publicity and this and that. Look, I mean, for me, he should have been one of the 3 gold spikes. I'm not taking anything away from the guys, the 3 finalists, because they're outstanding players too. But for me, for what Cags has done on both sides of the ball, to me, he deserved to be there.
Kevin O'Sullivan kind of went out of his way with us to say that this morning, that for all the expectations on him, and he's got a new NIL deal that just came out publicly that Sully said he wasn't even aware of when it came out. There's so much fan attraction and publicity around Caglione, and he's put up 33 home runs. He's doing the same things and then even better offensively. And look, we talk about the velo. He's pitched better as well, even with lessened velo.
And he's handled it with a smile on his face and a consistency that I think has really stood out to the staff. Right, there's an immense amount of pressure on this young man. And he's grown into more than just a special talent.
Yeah.
He's become a special leader.
Yeah. He looks uncomfortable on the mound right now to me, like he is really feeling for his mechanics right now, just trying to figure it out. And you've heard me say this a lot. The first inning is always the toughest for a pitcher. You know, the game mound feels different than the bullpen mound. What you thought you had working down there does not always translate to the game mound, you know, and you just get an adrenaline flow in that first inning that you can't create in the bullpen warming up. So it's all new. You're just trying to slow your heartbeat down. And on top of that, you got to face the other team's best hitters, and that's where you can get in trouble.
And the last time he stood on this mound, it was not great in the championship game against LSU.
And don't think that don't go through the back of your mind a little bit, too.
Well, speaking of best hitters, here's Jacob Cozart, highly regarded draft prospect, junior star for the Wolfpack, coming off 3 hits on Saturday for NC State in that 5-4 10-inning walk-off loss against Kentucky. 2 aboard. That's down, so it's 2-0 following a hit batter and following a walk against the dangerous Cozart. And Cade Fisher is already up. And here comes Kevin O'Sullivan. Well, you mentioned the emotion of this for Jack Caglione compared to last year. We were talking with him the other day, and he said the night before Game 3 in the championship series, he was nervous. He said he was sitting there thinking, whoa, I'm about to pitch in the biggest game of my life. And then he told us it ended so quickly. He said he was shell-shocked afterward. And he said this year the goal is don't make the moment too big here in Omaha.
Easy to say, hard to do, you know, because you tend to lean on your success that you have at a certain point. And as Berkey mentioned, his success last year on the mound was not great here. And his last 3 starts have not. So he's kind of trending a little bit in the wrong direction. But if there's anybody that can quickly turn it around, it is certainly him. He has more athleticism than I don't know if I've seen in a college player in a long, long time.
Here's the other part of this. Win or lose for Florida, you're talking about one of the potential last times Jack Caglione might ever pitch, depending on which way it goes in pro ball, which appears to be as a hitter.
Yes. Oh, I think so, 100%.
5 straight out of the zone, and now a 2-0 coming to Jacob Cozart. That's down 3-0 at 88. Cozart 3rd on this team in OPS. That misses. 87 off and inside, and a 4-pitch walk, and 3 straight free passes issued by Jack Caglione.
Well, man, if you're Kevin O'Sullivan, it can't be too long of a leash. It just can't. You're in an elimination game, and last week wasn't great from Cags, but the command was fine. It was not shaky from a balls and strikes standpoint. I mean, he always walks a few guys, but man, he just, like you said, Ben, just not comfortable.
First pitch swinging Brandon Butterworth as they started him out with, was that the slider?
Wow, I can't believe you'd swing at the first pitch right there. Like, I love the confidence and aggressiveness, but that ball looked down and in, and sometimes that'll settle a guy in. Yeah, definitely something off speed.
Off speed again, fluttering into Brandon Butterworth, the Western Carolina transfer. Supplied some big hits this season in round 1 with the Wolfpack. I think 3 straight changeups.
Yeah, what it looks like. That's Kevin O'Sullivan. Sometimes when the rhythm is off with the fastball, sometimes pitching coach will call some off-speed pitches, and a lot of times that'll kind of get you back in your rhythm, get you going again.
That's lifted foul by Butterworth. Brandon Butterworth spent the last 2 years not at shortstop, but at second base at Western Carolina. So they bring him into the ACC, and he's at short. Bouncing ball at third and foul. And Dale Thomas. So how about that? You go from Western Carolina's second baseman to NC State Omaha bound shortstop for Brandon Butterworth.
And impress your head coach Elliott Avent so much that he's putting you up there with defensively with 2 of the best he's ever coached.
Well, this has been a good defensive team. I mean, NC State the last 6 games, 1 error.
On the ground into left field, a base hit. Pennington scores, and the Wolfpack strikes first.
It looked like he went back to the changeup there, Ben. And again, at this point for Cags, he's just trying to throw it over the white part. And because of that, Butterworth, who came up aggressive, that looks like a fastball right there. Fastball middle. Butterworth ready to get the barrel out in front. Shoots it right into the 6 hole. And NC State got a chance to put up a serious crooked number here in the bottom half.
Fastball at 88 from Caglione. Here's Alex Sosa, the highly regarded freshman who did go around, according to Linus Baker. Sosa worked a couple of walks on Saturday against Kentucky. It's a guy who went through an 0 for 37 at one point this season, but then stepped up, has overcome illness as well. And for a guy who turned down a lot of money in the draft coming out of high school, now in the lineup on the big stage. 2-1. Left on left change from Caglione. And NC State's looking for a big number.
Yeah, Cags doesn't get it out here. I would assume this is it.
Swing and a miss. You can see the frustration, just shaking his head with a heater at 88 left up and in. This will be his 30th pitch of the first. That is strike 3 called.
Well, he needed that, and he needed it in a big way. Little front door breaking ball is what that one was. As a hitter, you give up on this ball because you see it in off the plate. It out of the hand, it's a ball. Watch this ball just kind of creep back. Starts it well on the inside part of the plate. Donay might have stole that one right there. He just kind of rips it right back in over the plate. Big punch out for Caglione.
And now the true freshman Luke Nixon from Wilmington, North Carolina. As you learned the other day, if you hadn't known already, one of the sons of longtime Red Sox right fielder Trot Nixon. Brother Chase on the team as well, who started a bunch this season.
How about that break right there? That ball could have went anywhere, but it stuck in the mask of the catcher, Donay. I mean, kicked up off his glove and lodged where this ball could have kicked anywhere for another run. But watch this. I mean, what's the chances of that?
Chest protect like in his neck.
What's the chances?
A neck ball. And here comes Elliott Avent strolling out of the third base dugout to chat with Sean Rakos. wouldn't imagine there's anything wrong with the ball just getting lodged up there in the neck, so I'm not sure what the discussion would be about.
Clearly talking about where the ball was lodged.
I mean, it's a crazy play. We've seen this happen before. We've seen the ball go down the catcher's jersey, actually, from time to time. Watch this. Kind of goes up and it lodges somewhere in between the mask, the chest protector, and his neck.
Did not get lodged in the player's equipment. It is not a reviewable play.
So, unable to review, and so it remains bases loaded for NC State with a run in and 2 outs. Nixon skies this one to center on a windy afternoon at Michael Robertson. NC State gets one, but leaves them loaded against Jack Caglione, and Mom can exhale for now. So it's 1-0 Wolfpack in front in this elimination game at the Men's College World Series. 6, 7, and 8 for Florida. Starts with Tyler Shelnut against Dom Fritton, who fanned 2 and also hit 2 in the first. Shelnut, the senior from Lake City, Florida, from less than an hour away from Gainesville. Good season again with the bat, and Shelnut has increased his power production this year. 15 home runs after 7 all of last year. Had a double and a walk Saturday against Texas A&M. 92 for a strike, 1 and 2.
Pretty good fastball command so far by Fritton. And that is the key for him in most pitchers. Can you throw your fastball where you want to? And typically the off-speed stuff will start to come right behind that.
Hot shot right at Butterworth. 1 away. 107 off the bat.
Always nice when they hit it hard right at one of your guys. Now Butterworth has to leave his feet right here, but the first time we've seen the Gators square one up, and it just goes as an out. Butterworth, I like the decision to leave your feet. This ball kind of top spun and nosedive, and he gets his eyes right there behind the baseball as that ball was really sinking on him as it got to him. The first hard hit ball of the day for the Gators just goes for an out.
Now Dale Thomas, 5th-year senior, a Florida native as well, who wanted to come back home. In his 2nd year with the Gators after 3 seasons at Coastal Carolina. More than 700 plate appearances in his career. 2 hits, including a double, plus an RBI Saturday against A&M.
He's been a big part of the postseason story for the Gators. Hitting well over 300 for a guy that is hitting 230 on the year. He has really come up big for them.
We were talking with him the other day. He told us that last year it felt like for this Florida team we were on top of the world, he said, for the most part. This year it's been a lot of adversity. Gators, of course, struggled down the stretch but still got in. 34 and 29 overall. They were a 3 seed in their regional and the only team in this 8-team Omaha field that wasn't a top 16 national seed.
Oh, that's
outside, full count.
2 things the Gators have done really well this year. 1, hit home runs. I mean, they got 131 of them on the year, so that's the 5th most in the country. The other thing is playing defense. They're the top defending team here and number 2 in the nation in fielding percentage. That's what's kind of got them into the NCAA tournament and kept them together.
Yeah, because even though they haven't pitched great statistically, the arm talent is there. They just haven't pitched great. They've turned outs into outs. The fielding percentage has been consistent all year long defensively.
Yeah, because if you look at their team ERA, I mean, it's over 6.12 team ERA. That's pretty high. Last year, as they made the College World Series final, their team ERA was 4.65. So it's elevated a good bit from year to year.
A lot of freshmen had to grow up as pitchers over the course of this season for Florida. Fritton starts with ball 1 to the 8-hole catcher Brody Donay for Florida, Virginia Tech transfer. That's up and away. 2-0. Keep showing you Jack Caglione in the dugout. And Cade Fisher throwing would seem to indicate Caglione stopped.
Yeah, he's coming in the game.
Yeah. I mean, you don't keep getting hot if you're not coming in the game. And typically Cags would be sitting on the bench right now if he was still pitching.
Fastball velo averaged 89.5 in the first inning, which would be well below his career low.
Right.
We told you before his last start, he had never been below 92 on average with his fastball. So obviously could be just some soreness and ineffectiveness. You hope it's just that, nothing more for Caglione.
Well, the body language to me, we talked about him being, I've been there before and pitched with a sore arm, and sometimes the body language is different. Like when you're feeling good and you're rolling and you're in your groove, like you're hopping right back on the bump, you're going again. But he was walking around, kicking dirt. You could almost tell he just wasn't right to me.
And meanwhile, Dom Fritton's got a fight here after NC State got a run, but just that off Caglione. With Dale Thomas aboard, 3-2. Donay fouls it back. We told you for Dom Fritton, freshman All-American last year. He's on the ACC All-Freshman team as well, worked as both a reliever and a starter. Elliot Avent told us last year, this kid is special. But he walks Donay here. Back-to-back free passes. And 2 on for Florida in the second. And look, NC State's gone through a lot in terms of its pitching this season. Saw Sam Highfill pitch really well on Saturday against Kentucky, but they've been dealing with a lot of injuries. You got longtime starting pitcher Matt Willitson, who has made 45 starts in his career. And he's got one of the jerseys that hangs in there because he had Tommy John surgery. He's not here with the team. And then Josh Hogue, a left fielder, he suffered a pretty gruesome leg injury this season. Fractured tibia and fibula 4 months after a collision in the outfield. So you talk about adversity, not just with their pitching. They hang those jerseys. That's a neat touch to keep those guys close for the ones who didn't travel.
Yeah, I like that. That's a really cool thing. And look, everybody's got a story, and every team's got a story getting here. And, you know, everybody's had to overcome. But it feels like NC State has had a lot of injuries. And we see more and more of our pitchers, our throwers going down every year, not only at the collegiate and high school level, but in pro ball as well. But the good news for them, a lot of those injuries happened a little earlier in the season for NC State. So they found a way to get some guys some reps and kind of get it going. Because remember going back, I mean, they really struggled in early April. They lost 5 in a row. They were swept by Louisville. And then they had to face the meat of their schedule. And they really got it going, finishing 11-4 in conference play. I mean, they knocked off Carolina, knocked off Clemson, knocked off everybody. So there was a lot of concern because they really hadn't faced the heart of their schedule. And so you wondered how they performed, but they grabbed a different gear.
And arrived in the NCAA tournament as the number 10 national seed. It's now 2-1 on Michael Robertson. Elliot Avent was telling us it's more injuries than I've ever seen in my career. They've had to really battle this season. 2 on for Florida in the second, 2-1. And Robertson springs one into left field, a base hit. Thomas stops at third, and the Gators have them loaded.
Michael Robertson, ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing a young man really start to come into his own. And this is how he's been doing it in the postseason. The backside of the field has really opened up for Michael Robertson. And so talking to Sully today, you're just watching him mature. A fastball that's really kind of middle-in-ish, but he is just doing a nice job of working from the inside out. Keep the arms close to the body, get the sweet spot of the barrel inside the ball. And Robertson stays hot. Now he flips the lineup, and the base is loaded with Jack Caglione on deck. That will send the pitching coach to the mound.
And it does with Clint Chrysler, 6th-year pitching coach, former two-way guy himself at Stetson, with Caglione looming.
Well, it's interesting here, Ben, too, because it's not a double play offering on the mound. That doesn't mean you can't hit a ground ball, right? Kirtland hit a ground ball his first AB, but
Logan Whitaker jogs down to the pen, and we check in with Danny.
Yeah, guys, Elliot Avent just told him, hey, go down into the concourse where no one can see you. Go get ready. Go stretch out. So, as you said, Mike, he just ran down to the bullpen.
Yeah, Whitaker's been kind of their number 3 guy in that rotation.
Well, you had him fantastic last weekend, right?
Yeah.
Against Georgia, he was really good first couple times through. And again, more of a ground ball type of pitcher, sinker, changeup kind of guy. Fritton's got his hands full here.
Yeah, the key here is bending a little bit but not breaking, right? You don't mind giving up one. One's not going to beat you here. You trying to stay away from the crooked number.
This is the leadoff man, Cade Curlin, who grounded out to second his first time to start this ball game. 0-1. Curlin's been scuffling over his last 8 games, but a chance to do some damage here. 0-2 from Fritton as he sticks with the off speed.
Yeah, back-to-back off-speed pitches to get a hit 0-2. Now the question is, because when you get yourself as a pitcher in this situation, bases loaded and one out, you think you ground ball at first because you're trying to roll 2 and get off the field. Now, when I get to 0-2, I'm thinking one thing right now. I got some shots here for a big strikeout, and that's what Fritton needs here.
0-2. In the air, it struck well to left, and Luke Nixon's under it as Dale Thomas tags, and Nixon's throw will not get him. Cade Curlin's sac fly ties this game at 1.
Well, this game shifted pretty quickly. It wasn't 10 minutes ago. Cag's out there fighting to keep from the Wolfpack scoring 3, 4, 5 in the first. He was able to get off the field. Now he's got a chance to put his team up here with a run scoring opportunity, and Fritton better find it quickly.
Punched him out his first time. Perfect fastball to start knee high. .33 home runs for Jack Caglione, the top 5 prospect. This is clubbed. Right field on the line. Gone! Caglione with a rocket.
You are playing with fire.
Especially when you throw it there, right?
I mean, he got him with all heaters the first time. Paints one the first pitch of this at bat, and you can see he was confident the fastball had played well until it didn't.
The problem is he got him the first time with elevated heat. Most lefties like the ball a little bit down, a little bit in, and Fritton was trying to get that fastball to the outside part of the plate. It never got there. It never got to the outside part.
And y'all, it's blowing in 30 miles an hour. Like that wind right there is violent from the right towards the third base dugout, and it didn't matter a lick.
Bro, that was a Tiger Woods 2-iron wind cheater is what that was. That ball didn't get much off. Yeah, 116 off the bat. It didn't get much off the ground.
His 34th home run this season breaks his own single season record, which he had done twice.
I bet his arm's not hurting anymore.
That'll help. And he's also tied Florida's program record of 74 for his career. And he can laugh about that. He is now tied with Matt Laporta, who was here the other night. 2-2 on Ashton Wilson.
You don't think the elbow's bothering him?
No, he ain't even feeling that elbow right now. Dude, he just hit a weaver. Are you kidding me? I mean, he is a game changer.
That dude is, and he's on a heater.
What's it feel like, Berkey, to hit a ball like that?
Well, I tell you, I wish I could remember a little better, Ben. I wish I could.
You got any 1-16s in you back in the day?
I don't think so. Maybe with a crow hop.
It's the 4th straight game that he's pitched in that he's homered in. That's inside, and it's the 3rd walk of the inning. And the 5th man to reach, and is that it for Fritton? We'll see.
Well, Ben, you said it. The ball up, okay, not this one. Not this one. Outer third and down to one of the most talented hitters in the country who's red hot, and that is dropping the head of the bat on the baseball. And it doesn't matter how big the park or how hard the wind's blowing. If Jack Caglione hits a ball like that, you can forget about it.
Brings
bullet.
up Colby Shelton.
Just a bullet. Ricky, I was going to ask you, I mean, his top hand, he takes his pointer finger and puts it going up
Really
the barrel. I've never seen a hitter do that before. Like, it's just sitting up there. And I was often wonder, why does he do that?
So I
like,
talked to him about it. He said in high school he really struggled with rolling over and tons of pull side ground balls. And his high school coach was trying to get him to kind of lighten his grip with his top hand so that the barrel wasn't coming over the top as much. So the point now, he says he did it last year. I don't remember it being.
I remember him
pronounced.
seeing it last year. I saw it last year for the first time, and I wondered why he did that.
It feels like it's gotten a little bit more and more and more, but that's what he's doing.
Yeah, if you watch his top hand and watch where his finger, look where his finger is, just going straight vertical up the barrel. His pointer finger, which is odd. Well, he just put his nose on that one, didn't he?
But by the time he's done, he's gripping it normal. Like by the time he actually gets into his swing, it slides back down. Like a lot of hitters, Ben, it's a feel thing for him. If you think it keeps you from rolling over, maybe
like when you're playing golf, you got a little bit weaker grip or a little bit open grip, a little bit, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. What a rocket by Caglione.
Seems to work for him.
Yeah. How about the line Elliot Avon had to us earlier today about how he spent last night? He said, I ordered some chicken wings and Domino's and watched film of Caglione.
Yeah. He said, I just didn't feel like getting out. He said, I just want to hang out in the room.
Said it was like a horror film on Halloween.
I'll say that's not exactly a pleasant evening.
Swing and a miss, full count on Colby Shelton.
18-degree homer. Now the average homer is 26 to 32.
Launch angle.
Launch angle. That one was 18. Now 18 is normally a ball that probably 3 hops the wall, unless it's hit 116, and then it will stay in the air a while.
We got a 2-iron put on it, not a 1-iron.
Yeah, well, Ben went 2-iron. That's okay. We could go 1 or 2. Depends on what the shot shape calls for.
He said, "Yep, that's how I did it."
Yeah, he's
like
talking
that.
about it right now. We're both feeling just fine. All smiles in the Gator dugout right now.
Meantime, the 39th pitch of the inning from Dom Fritton strikes out Colby Shelton. Well, Jack Caglione wasn't doing it on the bump, but he is in the box.
How about it now? One of the loudest swings of the bat you will ever hear when Cags hits it, folks. It doesn't matter the conditions or the ballpark. The Gators have seen that a few times, and Mama is a little lighter on her feet right now.
But Jack Caglione's day is done on the mound, and he gives way to the sophomore left-hander Cade Fisher, who opened up this year as Florida's Friday starter.
Yeah, left-hander fastball gonna be in that 90-mile-per-hour range. He'll shoot it up to 92, 93 from time to time, but ERA a little bit elevated from where he wants it to be. 26th appearance of the year. Now he can strike you out, 73 of them in 55 1/3. So pretty good strikeout to walk ratio for Cade Fisher. 3-pitch mix, fastball, slider, and a changeup. Above average swing and miss on the fastball, and a good bit more average swing and miss on that slider. He is about 38% on that slider. Big college average right at about 33% on the slider.
Boys, just talked to Kevin O'Sullivan about Jack. Said nothing's wrong with his arm, not hurt. Thinks he's just tired. That's what he said.
Yeah, we had asked Kevin O'Sullivan about the velo earlier today, so it's not like they were unaware of that going in.
Yeah, they had their eye on it. I think if it would have been clean, so long as he felt fine, they probably would have ride it. But the command wasn't very sharp either. You put those two together, and I think pretty wise to make a change.
Yeah, and like you mentioned earlier, elimination game, it's got to be a short rope. Like, it has to be.
Matt Hefner bounces this one foul up the line. And so it's a lefty who follows Caglione. And that's the plan for Florida, because they know what the splits say for NC State's offense, what the OPS is for Wolfpack hitters. Elliot's not too pleased right now against lefties versus righties.
Yeah, and Pierce Capola's potentially in play today, and I'd say now that they're in the bullpen in the second inning, I'd say we would probably see Capola at some point too. And then of course Brandon Neely when the game's on the line.
Hefner got jammed, floats this one onto the outfield grass, and Colby Shelton for the first out in the bottom of the second. There's Pierce Capola, the big old lefty. So NC State bats in the second, down by 3. They've got Caglione out of this game. And there's so many lefties in there, hence those left-handed pitchers for Florida. And here's another, Noah Souls. Souls, the 5th-year senior. Described by Elliot Avent as a heart and soul guy in this program. Had 2 hits Saturday against Kentucky, but got replaced. And Elliot Avent told us today the hamstring is about 80%, and that's as of last night before Elliot went to bed. But he said Noah Souls has given a lot to this program, and so if he says he's good to go, I will play him. He's earned that.
You trust an older player, number one, to tell you the truth about what percent his legs are, but number two, manage it, right? Find gears, play at different gears. And, you know, there's certain plays where you have no choice. You got to put the gas pedal down if you got to score from first on a double or something like that. But there's other times where even if you're feeling a little tender, you can play at 80-90% and still stay on the field.
Bouncing ball right side at Cade Curlin. 2 quick ones for Cade Fisher.
Like right there. I mean, you could tell Souls is not running at 100%. Now, could he have, if he really thought he could beat that out? Maybe, but definitely looked a little guarded getting down the line right there.
Souls a guy anyway who missed a lot of time this year because he needed ankle surgery on a high ankle sprain.
Slider's not sharp at all.
He's given the scouting report to his teammates.
Slider not sharp at all. We heard that.
Classic from a hitter.
Yeah.
Just get carved up and how to go. He stinks. This guy stinks.
He's got nothing. I'm 0 for 4.
It is so classic.
That's what you call a comfortable.
I've done it, and every hitter I've ever played done it.
That's what you call a comfortable 0 for 4 if you get there.
Yeah.
That breaking ball was pretty decent on the inside part of the plate to Eli Serrato.
And as a teammate, you got to learn to filter the guys that are giving you decent information and guys that are so mad they got out that you can't even trust them. You know, like, how's that breaking ball? Stinks. Wait, but you just swung at it and it bounced before home plate. No. Bug in my eye. Like, he's no good.
I've heard, not from personal experience, but that Dustin Pedroia was one of those guys.
Nobody was any good. Hunter Pence, same way. Nobody good.
Bouncer up the middle. Colby Shelton was shifted that way, and it's a 1-2-3. Second for Cade Fisher in relief. Win or go home for the Gators and the Pack in Omaha. Dom Fritton is out of this ball game for NC State.
Yeah, command was the issue for him, and we talked about it. I mean, 44 walks and 71 innings coming in. So if he gets over the white part of the plate, he's pretty good. Wasn't able to command it too good. 2 hit by pitches in the first inning alone. He did strike out, too, with some traffic to get out of the first inning with a 0. But the second inning, you caught up to him after getting the first out. Back-to-back walk to single, and a big miss against a guy that you just cannot miss right there on. That cost him a 3-run homer. So he is out of the ball game after giving up 4 runs, 2 innings of work. Walked 3, hit 2, and struck out 3.
Draft eligible sophomore is out of this game, and he gives way to the veteran. Redshirt senior Logan Whitaker, 6'6", 221 pounds, 4th on the staff in innings pitched.
Yeah, see the ERA from him a little bit elevated, but he's been much better as of late. 59 strikeouts, only 19 walks for him. Pretty good fastball. He'll take it up in the low 90s. A little breaking ball, an occasional changeup for him.
Starts out with a breaking ball that's into Luke Heyman. Logan Whitaker missed more than a month from the end of March into early May. Came back toward the end of the regular season at Florida State. Elliot Avent at one point called it a fluke thing. They couldn't figure out what it was. But now more than a month back and giving length and much needed innings to this Wolfpack pitching staff. His 3rd year is really a huge part of the pitching staff in the starting rotation. Has logged essentially 200 innings in his career, 38 starts. Last year, their primary Friday starter. Been through a lot in his career. Heyman struck out his first time. Strikeout to start for Whitaker.
almost looked like a righty-on-righty changeup, didn't it? That ball didn't move much at all right to left. 83 miles an hour, so obviously something off speed. We'll take another look at it. Was it a backup slider? No, that's just a changeup. A really good one. Right on right, changeup right towards the bottom of the zone. Takes a little bit off. Looks just like the fastball, but you can tell the rotation a little bit different.
This is an interesting thing about it. We got 4 ACC, 4 SEC teams.
Yep.
Right? Second inning, they'd already struck Kaggs out his first time up. First and second, 2 outs. You think Kentucky would have pitched to him?
Probably not. Probably not. Or if they would have pitched to him, it would have been everything. But that's the thing. It's like
Tennessee would have pitched to him. Here's my point. Like, there's teams in this event that have seen him for 2.5 years that just kind of know, right? Where then you have your ACC teams that just see the numbers, they see the video, but they haven't felt it. They haven't been burned by it. Do you see what I'm saying? They haven't lived it.
Yes.
And you go, you know what? We got him the first time. The wind's blowing in. We can pitch to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think it's really interesting. And then the opposite could also be true, where if you've faced a team throughout the last couple years and you had success against a guy, you maybe would be more likely to pitch to him.
No, that's a good point. It's a good point. Having said that, I think it was just poor execution, right? I mean, if you think about it, he got him out. I mean, Fritten got him out the first time really without throwing him a strike. Like, he elevated some fastballs and got some swings and misses. And you could see where the catcher was set up. I mean, clearly, Donay was set up on the outside edge. And it's about knowing where to miss. But what I think happened is the command of Fritten got him on that, trying to get a ball to the corner or off the plate. And instead, he missed over the plate and paid for it.
You do have a comparison in Charlie Condon. Last weekend, the opponent, obviously, for NC State at Georgia, presumptive #1 pick. And he was intentionally walked 1 time. Sliding grab in center is made by Eli Serrano to retire Dale Thomas. They can debate that now the rest of the way. But Caglione homered, Florida by 3 in the 3rd.
A snowball. Did you see it?
A what?
Is that a type of ball you buy like at a store?
I didn't see any cone on it. It looked like a ball to me.
Huh. Here's Garrett Pennington in the 3rd. You're the color guy, Ben, in this crew.
Look at there. Roy G. Biv.
What was that, 2 years ago? Pennington, Makarevich, and Kozar and Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, goodness.
Sliced foul by Garrett Pennington off Cade Fisher. 3-run game, elimination game. Winner plays Wednesday night against whoever loses between A&M and Kentucky tonight. Heavyweight showdown between 2 and 3, and Pennington gets hits again with 91 riding up and in from Cade Fisher. That did not sound comfortable.
Well, we saw Mookie Betts the other day take one off the hand, broke his hand, gonna be out for a while.
Time on his hand. It had a loud noise to it.
Yeah, almost like it got something to
Like
knob
it got
too.
the knob, yeah. It looked like it hit a little both, Ben.
Might have got the wrist first and then a knob, huh? Left wrist and then a knob.
And this is reviewable, so Florida elects to challenge. Coaches get 2 challenges per game, and you retain them if you're successful.
Well, I think the Gators heard what we heard. A little bit of a ping, a little bit of a ting.
I think it hit both.
Yeah.
I think it hit his hand and then the knob.
Me too. Otherwise, it would be incredible acting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He immediately makes a grimace.
Right, that's off the hand. And
My
then they
pitch
got-
is confirmed.
Yeah.
Florida has charged 1 challenge and has 1 remaining.
A big shout out to the umpires. Like, that is how a review is done right there, from announcement to timing and all of it.
Fantastic execution. More of that, please.
Leadoff man on for Alec Makarevich in the 3 spot for NC State. Enjoying the best season of his career. He launches to left, back toward the wall. God! It's a 1-run ball game. His second home run one here in Omaha.
He puts in charge of this one. 104 off the bat, 369 feet. And he's beginning to be known as Big Hit Mac because he's coming up with some big ones in the NCAA tournament. They get number 24 on the year, 84 RBIs. He'll put that hockey helmet on. Broke his tooth in the regionals. He was playing with a tooth that was missing. He got it fixed. He kind of looked like a hockey player.
Yes.
And I told him, I said, no, dude, you still got way too many teeth for a hockey player.
Told us he didn't want to go viral for that reason. Well, the bat is bringing a big name here to Omaha as well. He's homered now in 5 of his last 6 games. Had those 23 coming in, which were the 6th most in program history. And Alec Makarevich stays hot. Jacob Kozak bounces at Cade Curlin, who recovers for the first out. And if you don't know about that hockey helmet for NC State, a gift from Rod Brindamore, head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Trying to go two-seamer away, and that's just yanking it right back across the middle of the plate. And that is a big, strong man, and he just kind of, it's a hook wind that's coming in a little bit, but this one just kind of rides it into the left field bullpen. Man, Makarevich, we talk about Cags being on a heater. Makarevich, over 400 now, 5 homers and 13 ribbies in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, you see he wears number 99. He's a Wayne Gretzky fan, believe it or not.
Huh?
Kind of young.
That's not Judge.
That's impressive, though, to be as young as he is and still know who Wayne Gretzky is.
To know all about the great one. That one came inside and did not hit Brandon Butterworth.
There's a lot of 99s these days on youth baseball fields, and it's not for Wayne Gretzky.
Right.
Yeah. So you know, Mark.
It's for a different slugger.
Yes, pretty good at baseball.
Butterworth skies this one to right. And Ashton Wilson, who's got to back up for out number 2.
Yeah, Judge hit another homer last night.
45-degree homer. So Cags just hit one at 18. 45, which is usually about as high as you'll see somebody hit one.
Makarevich homering again. His was at 27 degrees with the launch angle. That's right in the average.
That is that perfect launch condition where that ball should be spun just right to stay in the air.
Now,
Alex Sosa, the true freshman. Do you travel around with a protractor?
No. I stay away from protractors, calculators.
2-0 on Alex Sosa. In a 1-run ball game thanks to Makarevich. That's a strike at the top of the zone from Cade Fisher. Mono cost Alex Sosa a lot of time this season. He lost a lot of weight. And then after that, whole team got the flu as well. So Sosa got the flu when like 20 guys had it for NC State. But eventually came back, put the weight back on, and has found a home in the lineup.
good.
We weren't kidding when we said NC State has dealt with everything health-wise.
And yet
here they are.
Here they are.
You know, and it's eerie similar to the 21 team. If I remember the 21 team, they dealt with, obviously, a lot before they got to Omaha and a ton when they got here. But it was kind of the same story for them. They had a couple starting pitchers they trusted and a really good bullpen. That's kind of been the recipe for success for NC State here recently as well.
That team was just loaded with veteran talent. Super athletic outfield.
On the ground sharply, and it caroms off the glove of Luke Heyman. And Alex Sosa's on. Blue chip freshman smokes that one, and it's a 2-out single.
Always nice to throw a punch after the 4-spot the Gators put up in the second. Wolfpack here making a statement in the third. This one has all the feels of a classic back and forth.
This is exactly what NC State did to Georgia. Every time Georgia scored in Game 3 of that Super Regional, NC State would answer back the next inning. They wouldn't allow Georgia to get any momentum going.
That's a strike to Luke Nixon. And again, just plays into the resilience of the Wolfpack team. Talking with Jacob Kozar, and he told us that we have resilience on this group and handle adversity better than any team, he said, that he's ever been a part of. And they've had a ton of comebacks this year. There was a time where they had 6 walk-off wins, all within a 30-day span. They've had a flair for the dramatic. 1-2, down and away on a slider. It was the talk of the NC State dugout. One-run game in this elimination game in Omaha. That is strike 3 called. 91-mile-an-hour paint piece from Cade Fisher, but Alec Makarevich with another big hit.
How about it now? We've seen the stars shining here, Cags, and now Makarevich, a bomb into the bullpen. The Wolfpack answer.
What are you thinking?
Thinking about that first inning when we let Cags off the hook a little bit. He didn't have command. Unlike Fritton, it was like, I think he was like 14 out of 20 strikes to the first 6 hitters, and I know some of that was him swinging at balls, but he was pretty good. Then he went 3-2 on 7 and 8, walked him. Robertson did a good job with that single to left. We got number 4 out, but then Cags, Cags, we got the first strike, but tried to get it up on him and elevate, and he got it down, and Cags does what Cags does. So, but anyway, we got back into there with the bolt from Makarevich, and we just got to keep grinding.
How do you handle Cags moving forward in this game?
I don't know. We're not going to pitch to him. We didn't want to pitch to him then. We were trying to get the ball up. He swung out of zone the first time. We were going to see if he'd swing out of zone again, and if not, we were happy to walk him, but we got it down.
One more on Logan Whitaker coming in early. What's the plan for him?
Oh, just when he's been our guy all year. He's been our guy for a long time. It's just as long as he can go.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you, Danny.
Mike.
So it seems like, Danny, that with the strikeout the first time against Caglione, chasing the fastball up, they just felt like, all right, let's try it again and see if we can keep him in the yard.
It's about execution, right? I mean, that's the difference in these two balls. You think about the best home run hitter for each team has hit a mistake pitch, right? A ball left over the plate, and that's what home run hitters do. Both of those guys, you talk about Cags and you talk about Makarevich, they are mistake hitters. And when you miss your spots, that's what they do. They make you pay for it. So it's been about execution. Because you could clearly hear what Elliott was saying there. We didn't want to pitch to him. We wanted to get some balls up out of the zone, and maybe he would chase again like he did the first time.
Brody Donay strikes out. How about Elliott Avent leading this group? I mean, he hung the menu of the Drover for the team on the ride to get to this point. And took everybody to the Drover before they got here. I told you last night he was chowing down on chicken wings and Domino's. He's enjoying this group.
Hey, on top of that, don't forget the tomahawk steak. I did confirm, Mike, it's not here, that bone, but they have the bone from the steak that they ate there. And listen, Brandon Butterworth looked at me and said, if we're here, I'm bringing it.
Yeah, Ben, remember that? The players were telling us someone ordered a tomahawk steak, and as their memento from the Drover, they pulled out the bone and took it with them.
I told them to hang it in the dugout. The bone. Elliott Avent is such a character, man. I just love him to death. He has been around a long time in his 36th year of coaching college baseball, 28th year at NC State. And he told us that in the Super Regional, he said, you know what? Because I asked him, I said, look, you still enjoying this? He said, absolutely. But he said, I'm going to be honest with you. There are certain days I wake up, and he said, I think about riding off in the sunset. But he said, there's certain days that I wake up, I can't wait to get to the ballpark, which kind of tells me he's kind of sitting on the fence a little bit. So who knows what he's going to do.
His first year at NC State was in 1997, following Ray Tanner. Michael Robertson hits one hard up the middle, and boy, he has looked good at the plate recently.
He's hot. And he's really, the old saying, the 9-0 hitter's the second leadoff. He has really developed into that for this Florida team. And I think Sully's been kicking back and forth whether to move him up in the lineup, but it's also one of those deals where he's so hot in the 9-hole. Do we even mess with him and end up maybe having him overthink it? But boy, is he putting together some quality ABs.
That's the key for me for Florida, is the bottom part of this lineup. Can they get on base? Can they be productive? So far they have. Thomas has walked. He's gotten on. Donay in the 8-hole has gotten on with a walk. Of course, Robertson, 2 hits out of the 9-hole to roll it back over to the top.
And that's part of what Sully was saying to us, is that they like him down there as well, because they do feel like he's getting on a bunch right now. 2 guys in front of Caglione when it turns over. Whitaker dots 92 to Kurland, with Jack Caglione looming. Elliot Avent did say we're not going to pitch to him.
Correct, but now you're at the place where you're like, okay, does that mean we're just putting him on?
Right.
Or are we going to do the old intentional walk?
That boils down to how much you trust your pitcher on the mound. Can you trust him enough to understand the situation and be able to execute and be able to get it on the corner or just off the corner? But if you miss, you have to know where to miss.
Logan Whitaker's a guy they've got a ton of trust in. Showed up in 2019 at NC State, but arm issues persisted a couple of times. A couple of years where Logan Whitaker wasn't even listed on the roster, with Dad Scott watching. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Told you a couple starts in the NCAA tournament. Regional against James Madison, 6 innings, 2 runs. Then in the Super Game 3 at Georgia on Monday of last week, 4 1/3, 2 runs. Had 7 strikeouts as well.
Yeah, Whitaker's got some years on him. He actually got to campus in 2019, but he didn't play in 19, 20, or 21. They plugged him in 22, and he went to work. Got 17 starts in 22, 15 starts in 23. Here he is in 24.
Payoff. Swing and a miss. Right on right changeup to strike out Cade Kurland. The last time Jack Caglione came up, he did this.
Trying to go up in, and that ain't up. That is right in the honey hole for Jack Caglione. And let's take a look at the way this ball was impacted. 116 miles an hour at 18-degree launch, ends up in 404 feet, and they are not messing around this time. Now that is not pitching to him.
That's really not pitching to him.
And that is the 29th time Jack Caglione has been intentionally walked this year. The data exists for that just over the last 8 seasons. That is the most times anyone in the last 8 years in college baseball has ever been intentionally walked in a season. A guy who's already, as the starting pitcher in this game, driven in 3 with that swing, which is in really good company for two-way guys in Omaha.
The legends there, Hudson and Keishner.
So that puts the onus on Ashton Wilson, who has been hit by a pitch and has walked so far, as the protection for Jack Caglione. He's got a massive lead over at first. Not being held with 2 outs and 2 aboard.
And this becomes the formula for Florida and the burden that Ashton Wilson carries. I mean, people are going to do this as long as this season lasts for the Gators, and Ashton Wilson is put on the hot seat to cash in these run scoring opportunities.
As Berkey said earlier, a guy who didn't have a hit the first 3 months of the season, was 2.5 weeks from going to junior college when plans changed. Florida came calling, and now Wilson's here. That's a strike, 2-2. With his father watching, Logan Whitaker trying to dodge a little trouble in the 4th inning. 2-2. Misses and a full count.
Pretty good fastball right there.
It's a really high whiff rate. He didn't right on right with the changeup for Whitaker. Just went to the heater. Now a 3-2. Swing and a miss. There's the change. And Logan Whitaker leads 2.
That's how you do it right there. Pitch around Caglione and you get to somebody you think you can get out.
What a spring season it has been for the NC State Wolfpack. Men's Final Four, Women's Final Four, and the Men's College World Series. Third school to do all 3 in the same academic year, joining Louisville in 2013 and Texas in 2003.
Yeah. What a year for the Wolfpack fans, huh?
DJ Burns was captivating.
Oh, yes, he was.
In men's basketball. It's Matt Hebner in the bottom of the 4th, 8-9 and 1. Boo Corrigan, the great athletic director at NC State.
You see the recent picture of DJ Burns?
I have not.
Oh,
trimming?
My man's been working now.
Let's go.
Yes. DJ Diesel.
He's one of my favorite athletes I've ever covered.
Is that right?
He is so fun to talk to. He's a guy who went to a CVS after a game where he got poked in the eye and bought some like cheap $1 sunglasses and just started wearing them around at games on campus. And then it took off with their whole student section and fan base, and everyone was rocking the cheap shades. 2-2 on the ground, right side at Cade Curlin for the first down. For more info on the NCAA College World Series, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Jacob Kozar was telling us, yeah, we saw men's basketball make a miraculous run. We saw them play for each other, and we tried to take that into our own this year. We said earlier how hot this team got down the stretch. Here's Noah Souls.
Yeah, more top 10 victories than anybody in the NCAA this year. Talk about the Wolfpack. 12 of them.
Bouncer, right side, tough play, Curlin, and Souls is on.
Well, the old do or die slow roller right here. Starting at the cut of the grass, you're coming in full speed. You got one shot. You got to pick it on the run. And that ball just kind of clanks off the glove of Cade Curlin, who has been so good down the stretch for this team defensively. And a tough chance comes out of the glove, and that'll go as an E4. Wolfpack have a runner on here with one out.
As the lineup turns over to Eli Serrano. Fly out and ground out.
10.
Ben, you got to know this guy a little bit. You like Eli Serrano.
I do like him. I mean, 6'5", but he's slim, and he's put on 15 pounds since coming to campus, but he needs another 15 for sure. Windy days aren't kind to him, but he's got a little bit of pop in the bat, runs really well. He had really what got NC State here. He robbed of what would have been a 3-run home run in Georgia in that Super Regional in Game 3, right up against the center field wall, went all the way back and just grabbed it.
You're saying that wind is not his friend?
No, not if you're that skinny. You could get blown around out there. Good thing he's not on the bump today.
Elliot Avant was saying before they played game 1, we were talking to him, like they felt like he was a high-end All-American kind of talent and spent most of the year maybe not playing at that kind of level, but the last month of the season, as this club has gotten hot, Eli Serrano has really shined, and not just with the bat but with the glove, as Ben said, some clutch catches.
Went from 5-hole to leadoff spot.
Yeah, you could dream on him a little bit here in a few years. You know, puts on some weight, gets a little bit stronger. Now, I don't know if he sticks in center field at the professional level, but he can certainly go to either one of the corners and play in the outfield, or you can stick him over at first base too. But with 6'5", you know, he'd be a good target to get it over there too.
And again, that's where he played last year as a freshman starter for NC State. On the ground, into the shift. Thomas flips the turn from Shelton for 2. The old 5-6-3 for Cade Fisher to end the 4th. Kevin O'Sullivan with Danny Wexelman next.
I'm with Kevin O'Sullivan. Hey, you just told me you need a little length from your guy. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we had to take Jack out after 1, so it'd be ideal for him to get, you know, another couple innings so we can shorten the game on the back end with our pen.
But when Jack comes to the plate, he can change the game with one swing.
No doubt. It's very difficult to get the ball out of that side of the field today. Obviously, the wind seems like it's changing. It changed 3 or 4 times during BP, but you know, certainly both those balls were hit really good.
Is that something you guys address in the dugout with your team?
Yeah, we told the outfitters they got to make sure when they go down on defense every inning to kind of check the wind, see how it's blowing.
Coach, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mike.
Well, we talked about it earlier. We said it's dead in the hitter's face. Now it feels a little right to leftish. It's gusty. It's consistently steady, but it also has gusts that feel like even 5 to 10 miles an hour more than its normal velocity that it's been blowing all day.
Yeah, it's one of those winds that we talked about a little bit yesterday, and it's stronger today. Everybody pursue the baseball. Everybody pursue it because the wind's going to really push it and take, especially high around the infield, around the middle part of the diamond.
How about that? 23-mile-an-hour winds. Temperatures in the low 90s.
And at times it's up to 30.
This is Colby Shelton down 0-2 against Logan Whitaker, who strikes him out with 94 elevated.
Well done. Get ahead 0-2, expand the zone. Got a couple shots to expand the zone. Anytime you get somebody out with that throw to strike, that's what you want to try to do. It's a good 4-seam fastball right above the top of the zone. Well, getting ahead is so important. You'll get away with more mistakes as a pitcher when I put you on defense right away, because you don't know what's coming now. Is it the breaking ball? The changeup righty on righty's been really good for Whitaker so far. He's got a good mix going right now. Pretty good breaking ball, good changeup, and the fastball.
And there's a rhythm that he's in, Ben. You talked about how Kaggs didn't look like he was in rhythm at all. Whitaker, the exact opposite. There's a feel about him where you can tell he likes his stuff right now. He likes the feel of his stuff, and it's showing with the level of execution, especially with that changeup.
He has struck out 5 of the 9 that he's faced since he came on to begin the 3rd inning. After 2 innings from the starter, Dom Fritton.
And look, that's a game changer right there. 2-0, got himself in a fastball count, but instead, do a little bit changeup, took it off. That's back-to-back changeup to get right back in the count.
It's really interesting to me how few pitchers trust themselves to throw same-sided changeups, whether it's left on left or right on right, but it almost feels like a better pitch because hitters see it so little.
Again, he threw it. A roller at Brandon Butterworth. Very slick defensively, and there's 2 gone.
I mean, right, Ben? I mean, I get the whole idea that like the fade of the pitch is going back to the same-sided hitter. By the same token, if you're facing a group of hitters that very rarely see right on right, in that regard, it feels like a very valuable pitch to have.
Because of all the analytical numbers that we now know. I mean, you know, going back years ago, we were taught, hey, you don't throw a same-side changeup. You just don't do that. You never saw guys really throw a right on right, left on left changeup. The other thing that's different now, too, is that we were always taught you don't want a breaking ball that stays on plane, right? I mean, that's a no-no. You want your breaking ball going both vertical and horizontal is what we were taught. But now with that sweeping slider coming in about 4 years ago, now you're seeing a lot of guys going to a horizontal break on the breaking ball. So that's just the analytical, the numbers, what we see now, and guys have really changed the way they pitch in a lot of ways.
1-2 to Tyler Shelton. And the other part of it is Whitaker throws so many strikes that the changeup's going to play really well off that if you know the guy's going to be in the zone a lot, right?
Yeah, and what he does, too, is he really sells it, too. Now, he got that one up.
And Tyler Shelton pulls it to left and gone! Solo shot makes it a 2-run lead.
And that's one reason why, you know, right on right changeup, right? I mean, if you get it where it needs to be, yes, you'll have a lot of success. But when you throwing them right on right or left on left, and you leave a cookie right in the heart of the plate like that, it gets turned around. And that one quickly got turned around at 108 off the bat, 374 feet. Obviously not where Whitaker was trying to get this ball.
The fear of the miss, right? We saw it last night with Shea Sprague and Kavares Tears. Left on left changeup that Tears hit into the right field bullpen. So funny. Why don't we see more of it? Boom, guy hangs one right on right. Off it goes into the bullpen.
It's great when you execute it, right? It's great. But when you don't, it seems to be loud.
3rd homer the last 5 games for Tyler Shelton. And so, yeah, probably then that's the answer. It's a little bit feast or famine. Again, really high whiff rate, right on right with the changeup for Whitaker throughout this season. 45% whiff rate. in those spots, which is very high. But he hung it, and Shelnut buried it. 5-3 Gators.
But to me, it's a little flawed, right? Because if I hang a slider right on right, you hit the bullpen just the same, right? So you can't bury a pitch or put it in your back pocket just because we're so scared to death of what if I don't throw it the best version of it.
Whitaker dots. He's working well in tandem with the framing of Jacob Cozart, and it's a punch out. But Tyler Shelnut adds insurance.
Florida's got the number 5 home run hitting team in the country, and this is the second one of the ball game. A hanging changeup that does not get missed. The Gators stretch it out to 2. It pops. Darrow's fired up. The Gators up 2.
Bracket in Omaha looks like this. At the Men's College World Series, down to 7. After this game, we'll be down to 6. Big one coming tonight between number 2 Kentucky and number 3 Texas A&M, who got wins the other day. This is clubbed down the line in left, but foul to lead off the bottom of the 5th for Garrett Pennington. Should be a big one. Kentucky got a walk-off win. Texas A&M got a 1-run win with a robbery to save it in the 9th from Jace Laviolette. 2, 3, and 4 for NC State, down by 2, starting with Pennington, who's been hit by pitches twice. Local guys from Lenexa, Kansas, told us 2.5 hours away. He's been here quite a few times. This here's a 13-year-olds with his buddies. Said they were more interested in the home run derby, the slump buster tournament, checking out the Fan Fest than maybe the college games.
Yeah, on top of that, guys, spent 3 seasons at D2 Central Missouri, right? Then he goes to Wichita State. You guys are going to love this.
Pulls it on a line to left and over the head of Tyler Shelnut with a rocket. Shelnut got to it quickly, but it's a double for Pennington.
This cat here, Berkey, he can swing it. I mean, swing it. You don't see a lot of big, high leg kicks in the college game, and really in the program that much anymore, but he seems to find a way to time it up. See that big, high leg kick? You see that foot come up? He's got really good timing, but he gets it down just in time. Now, that ball's right down the heart of the plate. He quickly turns around. This ball fooled Tyler Shelnut a little bit out left field. I don't think he realized this ball was hit as hard as it was.
Yeah, speaking of that, guys, by the way, that leg kick, that came a little bit later in high school. He had a toe tap his freshman year, and he told me, he said, we had a toe tap, I was hitting well, but I didn't like the way it looked. So he got rid of that toe tap, kept the leg kick, and that's how his stance came to be. But what I really wanted to tell you is through his journey, the portal was such a huge part of him getting to NC State, getting back to Omaha, being a part of this, but he also learned how to smoke. He used a smoker, right? Smoked briskets, pulled pork, ribs, like all the food, all the goods and fixins, and he cooks for his team. So I thought you guys would be interested in that.
Ben, I feel like that's speaking your language.
Yeah, I was thrown off for a second when she said smoking. Like that called me, like barbecuing is what she meant. So yeah, I'm all in on that. Yeah, that's a different kind of smoke, but it's a better kind of smoke.
He's just ripping heaters during his toe tap.
Yeah. I thought she meant like he had a Marlboro, you know, while he was taking BP or something. You know,
I mean, that'd be awesome, though. Here's Alec Makarevich. Yeah. Takes a strike after the visit from Kevin O'Sullivan to Cade Fisher. The other half of the Smash Brothers, Garrett Pennington and Alec Makarevich, who homered his last time, 2-run shot. Rollover bouncer to third at Dale Thomas to the first out. And these guys have meant so much to NC State's lineup. So many home runs in the NCAA tournament. And Berkey, you were saying the vast majority of them from the top of the order.
Yeah, and really, if you look at the game so far, Florida has totally handled 5 through 9. So, 1 through 4 is, you look at the numbers, it's very clear, especially in the postseason, where this NC State lineup has done damage, and that's what you have got to circle if you're Kevin O'Sullivan, this pitching staff. You've got to handle the top part of this batting order.
Well, then this is the cutoff point. Jacob Cozart, the cleanup man and catcher, preseason second-team All-American, enjoying the best season of his career. 1-1 on Kozart, who at the beginning of this season was 35th on our MLB draft rankings. He is an excellent defensive catcher, even at 6'3".
Yeah, maybe not your most traditional catcher body type, but as he appears, extraordinarily athletic for a catcher. He's got all the arm angles. He can really move back there.
It's elite pitch framing, and he's doing that one leg bend that you've talked about.
Yeah. We saw him in the Super Regionals. I tell you, there was not one ball that got by him. His blocking ability, and that's what it takes. If you're going to go do the one knee thing, you better be super athletic as a catcher to be able to get down and block balls. But he's also good enough when he can't get to it and block it, he can actually backhand the ball too. Like, he's just one of those dudes. And he calls himself, he said, look, I'm the runt of the family. I got a couple brothers that are 6'7", 6'6". He said, I'm the runt at 6'3", 225.
Big time players in their own right. Man at second, 1 out, 3-2. And Kozart strikes out. 2 gone.
That's hard to deal with right there, lefty on lefty. This pitcher just takes this breaking ball, a little sweeping slider, just all the way across the zone. And Berkey's a left-handed hitter. It is hard to stay in and keep your rear end on this one and keep your momentum going toward the pitcher, and just sweeps it right to the outside part of the plate.
This ball starts behind Kozart. You see him lose that front side, and then by the time the ball gets to home plate, the barrel's already out of the zone.
And now Brandon Butterworth after the frustration for Jacob Kozart.
We talked about Florida needing their left-handers. They needed Fisher. They need Coppola to be really good. Cade Fisher has only thrown more than his current outing once over the last 6 weeks.
Butterworth to right. Wilson backs up and won't get there. Pennington scores, and it's an RBI double from Brandon Butterworth to make it a 1-run game.
My apologies to Mr. Butterworth. That's now his second hit and his second RBI in this ball game. Sitting down there behind the top 4 in this lineup, and Wolfpack shortstop transfer from Western Carolina. To me, Ben, this ball, as hard as it's hit, I think it's funny with this wind direction, he hits it right at the scoreboard, and you almost wonder, is the wind almost blocked? This ball is hit right at the scoreboard, and it holds its line with no problem. A rocket right over the head of Ashley Wilson. And you look at the way that wind's blowing across the field, you'd think any ball to right would get held up. That one had no problem getting over the head of the right field.
And another big swing from Brandon Butterworth, to your point. We had a pull side RBI single back in the first. So 5-4, man at second, and 0-2 on Alex Sosa. He's 1 for 2 with a strikeout and a single.
We weren't sure any balls were getting over outfielders' heads today. And both of these teams have had no trouble on their best hit balls getting damaged.
As windy a game as we have had so far, and this the 7th game at the Men's College World Series. 2 outs, bottom 5 in this elimination game. Sosa squibs it foul.
It's all about ball flight. Right? You playing into the wind. It is all about ball flight. If you compress it and you keep the ball down, you got a chance to see the ball still carry. And pretty much every one of the balls we've seen here today just been rockets.
Including a home run from Makarevich. 1-2. Outside. 2-2 on Sosa. Cade Fisher's gone 3 2/3. 4 hits, 3 runs so far. About to throw his 70th pitch in relief. Sosa strikes out. It's a 1-run game through 5. Fisher leaves a man. This game tightens.
Laviolette robs the ball right there. Our shortstops have been outstanding in this one. We keep saying it. I mean, last year we all felt like was maybe the best College World Series we've ever seen. It's hard to argue this one's not off to a better start.
With a field that was very open, that had 7 of 8 as national seeds, plus this Florida team, the preseason #2 in the country, and the reigning runner-up. Kozart takes that foul ball.
Your Cinderella was preseason #2.
Not Oral Roberts, no disrespect, but that was a regional 4 seed compared to what Florida is.
Yeah. Preseason number 2 and been here 9 of the last 14.
I think you say that.
That ain't good.
Wild. Brody Donay swings through it, and it's 1-2 against Logan Whitaker. First 4 games were all 1-run games, including 3 walk-offs to start this. If you weren't with us over the weekend. Foul back, right on right, changeup.
I like he's going back to it again. He didn't lose any confidence. Look, before he gave up the home run to Shelnut, that was a really good pitch for him.
1-2.
That's a better pitch.
When you think about the combo of his command with Cozart's framing, that's pretty elite.
Pretty good combination. And that changeup and then follow it with a fastball, a little paint piece on the outside part. It don't get much better than that. You slow the bat down and you just paint one around the outside corner. Look where Cozart sets up. It says big right hander, give it to me right here on the outside part. And that is dotting the I on the outside part right there.
2 hits in Michael Robertson's day so far. That's a strike. Ben, what did you want your catchers to do behind the plate?
Well, we talked about the new stance for catchers, and I like the new stance. I get it. I mean, you can steal some balls working from the ground up. That's what we're all doing. But what I don't like from catchers a lot of times, and that's a good look at it right there, is the glove drops to the ground. And that's what always threw me off as a pitcher. So in other words, if we go back to that look like that, Cozart gives the target where he wants it. But as I wind up and I start to come down the slope, the target disappears. Now, what am I throwing for now? Now I got to pick up your right kneecap, or if I'm coming up, I got to pick up your face mask. As a pitcher, if that's where you want the ball, I want to see the ball the whole time. I mean, your glove the whole time. See, watch it right there. It goes down. So now I'm almost throwing to an imaginary target. And I get it. We want to work, and it does save some pitches from time to time. But I also wonder where the teetering point is for some pitchers who need to see. Because for me, I was not only looking at the glove. When I was on my game, I was looking for a part of the glove. I always thought if I aim small, I miss small. And when that target's not there, sometimes it creates a miss.
Do you think though that because that's the technique that everybody's using right now, that the pitchers just get used to it?
I think they do over time.
Yeah.
Now there are some catchers in the big leagues, and there are some pitchers in the big leagues that will tell their catchers, hey, I want to see a target all the time. Adley Rutschman's one of them for the Orioles. Like, he gets down in the new stance from time to time, but he will leave his glove there. Like, because some of the pitchers on the Orioles, they want to see the glove the whole time. And so everybody's a little bit different.
Trying to bring that one back.
Yeah, I think some of these guys, they've grown up in an era where that's all they've ever seen, Ben.
No doubt. You know what I mean? You could get used to it. It's just like, you know, wearing a watch. I mean, who would have thought we'd ever be wearing a watch on the mound, you know, getting our signs on the watch. The pitch count system that's out there.
You think about pitches in the shadow zone, right around the edges of the plate. Cozart has been excellent with those.
Boy, Mikey, you called a second ago. You called the old 5-6-3 double play. Like, you know, we'd say, well, how the heck are you going to turn a 5-6-3 double play? Well, you turn it because you're shifting all the time, and you practice shifting it and get used to it. It looked totally natural.
You can get used to anything over time.
3-2 to Cade Kurland. In the air toward right field, sending Noah Souls back on the move. Oh! Wow!
These boys play a little defense now, Berkey. Only one error for NC State in their last 5 NCAA tournament games. And this ball off the right-handed bat, it's slicing a little bit. You see Noah Souls making an adjustment right here. You talk about a little athleticism. Watch him get turned around right here. One peek at the wall. He has to come hard towards the line. Lays out and collects it right there on the warning track.
We had just come back to that half inning, talking about the defense, Ben, here, and then Noah Souls goes out and does that.
Big time effort.
Cade Kurland's like, I'm not going to hit him on the right field again.
Yeah, sorry, Cade. Game is hard.
Oh, no, he didn't.
The game is really hard, and at this place, especially when the ball is hit a little bit too high into that wind. That is now back-to-back games where he's had the potential of a 2-run homer.
Luke Nixon is squaring the bunt. 2 out of the zone from Kate Fisher. And Kate Curlin, man. Oh. Nixon a fly out and a strikeout so far. And that's out of the zone from Kate Fisher again. We told you Noah Souls, heart and soul guy in this NC State program. Had ankle surgery earlier this year and came back. Now dealing with a bad hamstring. And as of last night, Elliot Avent was told that Noah Souls is only 80% healthy, but he wanted to give his 5th-year senior a chance to play today if he wanted to, as Nixon walks. Don't miss Game 5 of the NBA Finals tonight, 8:30 Eastern on ABC, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Plus, and ESPN Radio. Can the Celtics close it out for Banner 18? Coverage tips with NBA Countdown presented by DoorDash at 8.
Put that one in the books.
You think it's over?
Yeah, the C's raise another banner tonight.
Why is that?
It was the old, like, we ain't sweeping on the road. We're going to wait. We're going to wait one more game, get it back home, win it at home. That's what I got.
He's J.J. Redick, Chris Burke up here in the booth. Fisher out, a pitching change in a 1-run game. Jake Clemente is the new arm for Florida.
Yeah, nice arm, too. Fastball is going to average 94. He'll show you a 5 or 6 every now and then out of Coral Springs, Florida, making his 17th appearance of the year. 25 and a third is all he's worked with. He can strike you out. 35 walks can be an issue for him. 17 walks in just 35 and a third.
Matt Hebner pops up a bunt right at Dale Thomas. Missed opportunity for NC State.
Yeah, trying for a bunt for a hit right there, too. That wasn't a sacrifice. Dale Thomas was hunting it, though. Watch him. He's anticipating. He's on the balls of his feet. And a little bunt for a hit action there, trying to get the angle to third base. Thomas snipped it out from the jump. Hefner catches the bottom of the ball, and NC State first out recorded here in the top of the 6th. Bottom of the 6th, excuse me.
You're excused. Bottom of the 6th. Noah Souls with 1 out and 1 on.
Clemente, 4-pitch mix, fastball, slider, changeup, and he'll show an occasional curveball, but it is fastball heavy for the year. 66% of the time he will throw that fastball.
You know you're going to have to play a lot if after losing your first game you want to advance to the championship series. So you got to ration out your pitching. Runner goes on a hit and run. The throw. Got him.
The big man can really throw, Ben. It's, you know, still maybe a little bit raw behind the plate with some of the receiving and blocking, but from an arm strength standpoint, the big fella can absolutely grip it. Shelton does a nice job here. Watch his snap tag right to the front of the base. That was close.
That was really close.
Not appealed, though. Or reviewed, excuse me. That was...
Yeah, Donay got a good pitch to handle, too. Elevated fastball, and he came out of there quickly.
The oven mitt might have snuck in there.
That was close. I'm surprised. Didn't take a look at that.
They have both their challenges, correct?
Yeah. It looks like the glove kind of clips the base. No, it went directly there, but that was close.
Bouncer up the middle, and Colby Shelton. Just like that, the inning is over. To the 7th, Florida by 1 on NC State. And it's a 1-run Gators lead as Caglione leads off the 7th against Logan Whitaker. First pitch inside to start.
I don't think anybody thought Matt Laporta's school record was ever going to be broken. I mean, that's one of the highest number of home runs in a career there is in the country.
This is in the air toward left field, and Luke Nixon's got room for the first out.
And we got to remember, Cags, it's really just like 2 1/3 seasons.
That's all it is.
He didn't play until the last 6 weeks of his freshman year. He had 7 home runs as a freshman, and then 67 the last 2 years.
And if I remember Sully's story correctly, it was like they were thinking about redshirt Cags his freshman year because he's coming off Tommy John surgery, wasn't going to pitch. And they kept watching him take BP as the season went. He got to hit a little bit, some inter-squad game stuff, and Sully looked over, hitting coach, said, hey, maybe we should run this dude out there and see what he can do. And he hopped in the lineup, and he's been there ever since. And that was well after the halfway point.
Right. It was a typical deal, too. They weren't getting great production from the dudes who had gotten their shots. It was like, hey, let's throw this man-child out there and see what we got.
Oh, no.
Worked out all right. They don't think he would have ever gotten to campus if he hadn't blown out his senior year.
And he was getting more interest in the draft process as a pitcher.
That's right. Wild.
Yeah, because I remember talking to Sully when I went and did a game over there 3 years ago, Cags his freshman year, and he's like, hey, wait till you see this guy Caglione. He said, hey, he can really do it on the mound. Didn't even mention the hitting piece side of it to me. He was like, he's a real dude on the mound. It's up to 96 or whatever from the left side. You're going to like him when we get him healthy. But they got it right. I mean, I wrote down a note on him. He was rated the #4 left-handed pitcher and the #1 rated first baseman in the country coming out of his senior year. So they had a lot of people had him projected, obviously, as doing both. You know, knew that. But what's got me about Cags is his athleticism over at first base. Like, he's a big league first baseman right now, all day long, all day long.
Ashton Wilson strikes out. That's 8 now for Logan Whitaker, and there's 2 down.
Yeah, Whitaker has been fantastic, and you can second guess maybe the decision to start Fritton, but at some point you needed outs, and even though Fritton struggled in the second, he got you into the first part of this game, and now Whitaker's pitching you deep into it, and if you're going to give up a big number, do it early, right?
It has been a lot of strike ones for Logan Whitaker.
Fritton got the start. Whitaker has followed. And been very good for Elliot Avent, who again was telling us that yesterday he and his pitching coach Clint Chrysler were at the hotel bar just chatting things through, and 8 different people came up and asked who is going to be the starting pitcher today. Some votes for Whitaker, some for Fritton. Ball in a strikeout, Colby Shelton. Speaking of Shelton, he's been impressive defensively. You like the play he made last inning.
Well, I've liked it all season long. He is as comfortable as anybody I've seen this year charging the baseball. And, you know, Ben and I were talking, Alex Bregman's the best I've ever seen in the college game at playing downhill. I mean, he came and got everything. Balls could be hit 100 miles an hour. He'd run it through it. But Colby Shelton played third base last year at Alabama, and people weren't sure he could play shortstop, and he has proven all of the doubters wrong.
Hey, to your guys' point, he said that third base was new to him. You said that, Berkey, so he was learning a lot. When he got to Florida, he said, Sully gave me the opportunity. He spent hours with Chuck Girolamo working at that position. And he said, I heard what people said. I just ignored them, guys.
Yeah, he said he heard everything that was said, doubting his ability. He skies this one to left at Luke Nixon. 7 in a row for Logan Whitaker, keeping NC State within 1 as we hit the stretch in this elimination game in Omaha. Big bats coming for the Pack. Down a run with 3 innings left to play with, starting with Eli Serrano, the leadoff man.
And Brandon Neely in the bullpen because Sully knows with a 1-run lead in this part of the lineup, the margin is small to leave Clemente in the game. This is where it's tough, though, because you have to win this game or your season's over. By the same token, there's still a whole bunch of ball games and innings left to fill if you're going to hang around here for a while. And Neely's your dude, and you'd rather not extend him today if you don't absolutely have to. But again, there is no tomorrow if you don't win this one. So tough spot for Sully here. That's why Neely's down there ready to roll when they need him.
And Neely threw, what, 23 pitches in game 1 for the Gators.
On Saturday against Texas A&M in the wee hours of the morning, 2 shutout, 3 strikeouts is part of those 23 pitches for a guy who was a preseason second-team All-American and has been used a ton recently to great success. 3-0 pitch.
Awful.
Misses. So not the way Jay Clemente wanted that to go. And the leash is apparently not very long at all.
And there you go.
Because you've got Garrett Pennington and then Alec Makarevich looming for NC State.
Might as well go get your best. You're going to face the other team's best right now. Back part of the ball game.
You just can't. I mean, you just can't play around when Neely's been as good as he's been. Clemente, if it went 1, 2, 3, okay. But once there's traffic, you got to get the ball to Neely here.
So this will be best on best in a one-run game. These two programs fighting to save their seasons. Pennington and Makarevich looming, and Brandon Neely enters on the big stage in Omaha. Here he is, Brandon Neely, coming on for the big bats of NC State, including Alec Makarevich. Garrett Pennington first against Neely.
Yeah, this is going to be fun here. Big on big, best on best here, whatever you want to call it. Brandon Neely making his 27th appearance of the year. There's the numbers. ERA a little bit elevated, but he's been much better than that as of late. But look at the strikeout numbers. 96 of them in just 73 innings of work. Fastball going to average about 92, but he'll show you a 4 or 5 from time to time. And that fastball has got a big-time swing and miss rate of 26%. D1 average about 18%, but the slider's kind of been the pitch for him lately.
That's what he starts with there, and it backs up on Garrett Pennington, the Wichita State transfer, who was hit by 2 pitches and then doubled at 108 off his bat, his last time leading off the 5th. This is struck well, center field. Robertson spins around and makes the catch. 1 away. .106 off the bat.
That's pretty good right there. I mean, that's barreling the ball up, but straightaway center field in this wind, you get it up too high, it is going nowhere.
Yeah, down the lines, the wind can be managed. You hit that ball right at the 408 sign, and good luck.
So now Alec Makarevich, switch hitter from the left side, hit a huge home run late in the game on Saturday against Kentucky. Had a 2-run shot to left back in the 3rd. Walked his first time and then did this.
Yeah, big ball right there. Another missed spot, trying to get on the outside part of the plate. This ball runs right back over the heart of the plate. And the big fella Makarevich knew exactly what to do with that one. 24th long ball of the year.
1-1 is up high, 2-1. He's really pounded right-handed fastballs this year. And facing Brandon Neely, who's got a good one. Heater for a strike. They had the count wrong in-house, and so that is strike 3 called on Makarevich, and there's 2 down.
Well, I love this here. I love pitchers that finish in, because hitters are taught to do what with 2 strikes? Protect a little bit. Now, I'm not sure that's exactly where Neely wanted that ball. It looks like the catcher, Donay, to me, was set up more on the outside part of the plate. But that just goes to show you, man, if you can get a heater to the inside, and it doesn't have to be perfect, just enter 3rd with 2 strikes, a lot of time is money.
Now it's up to Jacob Kozart, superstar catcher for the Wolfpack. 0 for 2 with a walk after a 3-hit day Saturday. Boy, think about NC State in the 6th. Leadoff walk, but nothing doing. Get a leadoff walk here in the 7th. Big bats to follow, but now 2 outs. Cut and a miss on 94.
Fastball just different. When he's fresh, the way the ball gets out of his hands, guys just have a really hard time squaring it up.
He's just going right at him, too. My best against yours.
It's 18 innings, 3 earned runs for Neely in the NCAA tournament. He has struck out 26 in that time. Opened as the closer this year, moved into the rotation, now back in the bullpen. 2-2. Seven outs left to work with for NC State, and their stud catcher in the box. Long hold, 2-2. Oh! That is high in a full count. Brandon Butterworth on deck. Brandon Neely's payoff. Floated foul. Jacob Kozar told us this week when he was 5 or 6 years old, promised his father that he would take him here someday. And so when they won in Supers, he looked at his dad, Charles, and said, "I'm taking you." Dad said, "You told me you would." Facing elimination here in Omaha. 3-2 is down, ball 4 and in, and Kozar works a walk. And the Jacob Kozar lovers in the stands watch the tying run to go into scoring position, and the go-ahead run is on in Kozar.
I got one of those that says Ben McDonald, but y'all can't see it right now.
So 2 on for Brandon Butterworth. And Berkey, you said 2 hits has supplied 2 runs out of the 5 spot for NC State. First pitch swinging.
Yeah, this is the old right man, right spot right here for the Wolfpack. Butterworth has been swinging a hot bat all game long, couple ribbies. It's funny how when you're hot, you find yourself up with runners in scoring position all the time. This one had all the feels early of a wire-to-wire kind of ball game where we were going to see punches thrown back and forth, and now the Wolfpack with a chance to tie it up.
With 2 on and 2 out. That's a strike, 0-2.
Boy, Neely's digging deep right here. Fastball's averaged a shade over 92 all year long, but seems like every pitch 94, 95. Wolfpack today 2 for 7 runners in scoring position, trying to make it 3 for 8 in a tie ball game.
Brandon Butterworth has been such a godsend for this team after transferring in. Elliot Avent said to us this morning, yeah, he's been surprised by how good Butterworth has been. The 1-2, swing and a miss. Neely strikes out Butterworth to end the 7th.
Big time right there. Brandon Neely comes in, and Kevin O'Sullivan goes and gets his best, and Neely reaches down that lunch pail of his, and how about a little extra cheese from the right-hander here, just high and up in the zone. That gets the Gators off the field.
8th inning of this elimination game. Winner of this game gets the loser of that game on Wednesday night. Logan Whitaker has been great once again for Elliot Avent. Nothing in 2 on Luke Heyman out of the 5 spot. You know you can get length out of Logan Whitaker. We're at around 80 pitches for a guy who's been in the weekend rotation throughout his career. NC State going all in with its horses and a must-win. Fouled back again.
Look at that bat going on right here. Been 0-2 for a while.
Checking out Brandon Neely in the dugout. Ooh, really good one there from Whitaker to strike out Luke Heyman.
Well, Whitaker is doing it, man. He's doing it with 2 different pitches. That was a strike there on a changeup. And the changeup is what he got most of his strikeouts on early, and I mean some really good ones. Righty on righty changeup. That thing is dive bombing down and away, and then he started going to the elevated heaters and just rearing back, taking that four-seam fastball and just ripping it through the top of the zone. Some paint pieces on the outside part of the plate. It's been really good fastball command, making 9 strikeouts now for Whitaker in just 5 1/3 innings of work.
This is lifted by Tyler Shelnut toward the seats and foul. And he's been awesome, just what they needed following Dom Fritton.
Yeah, he's only made the one mistake to Shelnut, left the ball out over the plate, change up. He's had a lot of success with, left it up, out over the plate, cost him a solo home run, but other than that, he has been outstanding.
Fritton went the first 2, and then Whitaker entered with a 1-2-3 3rd. Shelnut slices this one foul. Line out, ground out, home run. Full side, like Ben said, for Tyler Shelnut. In a 1-run game in the 8th inning. Darryl Shelnut, Tyler's father, looking on. That's outside. It's a career high, tying 9 strikeouts for Logan Whitaker on this stage. And that's outside again.
It's just interesting. We're seeing it with both guys in the game right now, whether it's Neely or Whitaker, 2 people that have elevated their game down the stretch, and it's just very clear that they have found whatever it is, mechanical, it could be a mental approach, whatever it is that has them executing at their highest level.
I mean, think about it this way. Since we got aluminum bats introduced in the college game in 1974, to strike out 10 in a College World Series game, only 3 relievers have done it. Wow. Whitaker's come in with 9. Nearly had a 10.
Burns do it last year?
He had 9 against Stanford.
9. Interesting.
My mind went to the same place because he was that good last year for Tennessee at the time.
And was out there a while. And that was a long relief appearance.
These are the guys who have done it. 2018, 2013. In 1983, Calvin Sherald.
I'm about to say, he pitched in relief, Ben. He probably thrown, what, about 140 in 2 days before?
Yeah. Crank it right back up.
I don't think he pitched in relief all that often, did he?
No.
Man aboard for Florida and running, and Dale Thomas swinging, who pops it up. Foul ground at Garrett Pennington. Shelnut back to the bag and 2 gone.
Schiraldi was there when Clemens was at Texas, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think they needed a whole lot after those 2. A couple of horses right there.
Just a little bit of offense, and we'll just run those 2 out there.
So Logan Whitaker with those 9 strikeouts has 2 outs. And meanwhile, Brandon Neely, Reddies. His NCAA tournament ERA is 1.42. Brandon Neely's. Brody Donay, the catcher, steps in. Got a hanging breaking ball. Brody has walked and he has struck out a couple of times. Both times against Logan Whitaker. For a Florida team playing in another tight one, just like NC State as well, who went 10 innings on Saturday with Kentucky. Swing and a miss. 6, 7, and 8, by the way, will be coming for NC State in the bottom of the 8th inning. Chopper left side, and Makarevich ends the inning. Logan Whitaker keeps on doing it for NC State. Keeps the pack within 1.
Yeah, so Brandon Neely back out, guys. When we talked to him earlier this week, he said last year Kevin O'Sullivan told me I was going to be the closer, okay? And Sully thought that that was going to be the best role for him. He wanted to start. So this year, he did get into the rotation, made 6 starts. He looked at us and he said, it was really hard. He ends up back in this closer role now, and he's begun to relish it even more for this team, doing whatever they may need. And Mike, he looked at us and he said, listen, we had a lot of pressure to get back here to Omaha. We went into the season with huge expectations. You guys talked about that. But we have a chance to win it now.
They do, and he's on in these high-leverage innings, Danny, and Alex Sosa bullets a single into right off Neely.
Yeah, Sosa's having a nice day. 2-for-4 day for him, and a good start for NC State here in the bottom of the 8th.
102 off the bat of the freshman with his second knock, and this time off Neely. Now to another freshman in Luke Nixon.
Got to think Nixon's going to take a chance here to get the ball on the ground. Try to move that runner into scoring position, which is obviously the tying run.
He's had a fly out, a strikeout, and walked his last time, and he does bunt. Neely slides, rises, and threw over to first. One away.
How about that? A little pop-up slide. Brandon Neely probably played a little shortstop back in the day.
No pitchers with the best athletes on the field. Come on now.
The old PFP pop-up slide.
Like this right here. He knows putting the bunt down. He's responsible for the ball back to him and towards first base, and he handled that really well.
So he's got his first out, and now looks like we're going to get a pinch runner for Alex Sosa at second at a conference between Elliott Avent and Matt Hefner. Andrew Schaffner comes on to run for NC State. Saw him come off the bench for Noah Souls on Saturday against Kentucky in the Wolfpack's opener. Florida's fate hangs on the arm of Brandon Neely.
And if you're NC State, you got a couple cracks at it here with a runner in scoring position, and then the top of the order up in the bottom of the 9th if it goes to that. So looks like we're getting a pinch hitter here.
Elliott Avent will call on Chase Nixon, a left-handed bat, against Brandon Neely instead of Matt Hefner. So we just saw Luke Nixon with the bunt. This is Chase, the older brother. Junior, also from Wilmington. And yes, one of those sons of Trot Nixon, the longtime Red Sox right fielder. Bunch of experience for Chase Nixon. With one out, the first pitch is knee high at 95 for a strike. Talked to Brandon Neely about this mentality on the mound. He says it's just me and the catcher, literally. Said there's times where coaches will be yelling stuff between pitches to him. He comes back in the dugout and they're like, yo, did you hear me? And he says, no, I did not hear at all what you were saying.
Locked in. That's what he is.
Pretty solid average for Chase Nixon against high velo. Lays off the 0-2 at 95.
Yeah, Chase Nixon really good at going to the backside of the field. If he gets a fastball kind of up and out over the plate, maybe a little bit outside part of the plate, he's outstanding at driving it out toward left center field.
1-2. Fouls that one away backside. We asked Brandon Neely if he's an adrenaline junkie, because it sure seems he is when he's on the mound. He said, I'm actually kind of scared of heights. If I'm on a roller coaster, it's because I got dragged into it. Not too happy at amusement parks, but loves these stages. Inside 2-2, try to breaking ball.
So what you're saying is he will not be on that Ferris wheel out in center field.
You will.
Not going to happen. Yeah, I'm afraid I'll be up there.
Getting drugged into it.
Whether I want to or not.
Pressure-packed 8th inning. 2-2. Fouled away.
Boy, he's letting that ball travel, and he's letting it get as deep as he can. Neely's done a good job of getting him up in the strike zone. Down in the strike zone, he can get to that ball. Up, going to be a lot tougher.
Man at second, one out. 2-2 again. Yeah! This one went around. Karams away. Schaffner rounds third. The throw in time to complete the K. Chase Nixon didn't bolt immediately, and Brody Donay throws him out, and there's 2 gone with Schaffner moving up to third.
Ben, I don't know about you, but I thought Donay was moving a little casually towards this baseball, and I thought this was going to end up being a situation where Chase Nixon, who didn't see it right away, Brody Donay, look at him break down, shuffle once, and that's a guy who knows how much arm strength he has to take his time like that. Yeah. Nice job by Heyman getting the outside of the base.
His internal clock was pretty good. So I'm like you, I was working, get to it, get to it. He knew just how much time he had.
So now the would-be tying run in the 8th inning is at third. Nixon strikes out, 2 gone, and Noah Souls, 5th-year senior and veteran leader for this team. Playing with a bum hamstring. The guy who has battled injuries and returned early to fight through them throughout his career. With Schaffner 90 feet away in this elimination game. The 1-1. Souls pops it foul, and it's 1-2.
It almost looked like, guys, it almost looks like Nixon thinks that it hit him or that he found. Did it hit him? Look, he's pointing like it hit me, and then he runs. He realized that it had been called a swing, and then he had no choice, right? But at first he's thinking it hit me. Then he sees the umpire call him out. Now I got to go, and really, if he goes right away, I mean, it's a no doubt.
Oh, he's there easy.
And if not called a swing, then it gets real interesting.
Yeah.
2-2 on Noah Souls. Neely fires up the ladder.
Boy, this is what you need, folks. This is what you need. You need your big-time performers to show up in big moments. And Mr. Neely, runner on second base in score position on third as well. But how about back-to-back punch-outs to get the Gators off the field, up 1 as we head to the 9th.
Winner of this game plays tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern, against the loser of that one.
1-run ball game. Both teams about to send the top of their orders up here. Going to be an interesting 9th.
Logan Whitaker's back out, drops in a changeup to 9-hitter Michael Robertson. He's got 2 singles and is grounded out to short.
Yeah, Florida would love for a little insurance here.
You know you're getting Jack Caglione, and at bat, you'd love to have people aboard.
I'm honestly surprised NC State hasn't moved a little more oppo on Michael Robertson, just the way he's been shooting that ball to the backside last couple weeks. But this is, yeah, it starts with Robertson, and for the Gators, this is the guy you want up right here, right now, to start an inning.
1-2 is strike 3 called. Excellent command all day. And Logan Whitaker's got a new career high with 10 strikeouts.
How about 10 punch-outs out of the bullpen? Boy, he's been everything that Elliott Avent hoped he would be. And I'm going to tell you, folks, you can't throw it any better than that. You can see where Cozart is set up, and that is just perfectly placed on the outside part.
96 pitches for Logan Whitaker, and now Cade Curlin takes ball 1.
Guys, yeah, I went up to Clint Chrysler, asked him how long they're going to leave Whitaker in. I said, are you going to ride him? Just gave me a head nod. Yeah, so he's staying in for now.
5th-year senior, you'd expect nothing less from Elliott Avent's NC State group.
Well, and you're using your eyeballs too, right? Like, this stuff has not dipped. The command has not wavered.
Though that is Jake Duden and Cooper Consiglio, pair of great freshman relievers. Oh. That just misses. 2-1. That might be one where if the catcher sets up differently, that is for sure a strike.
That one didn't miss. It was just called a ball.
This will be pitch number 100 for Whitaker. 2-1 right on right changeup.
Oh, that changeup has been outstanding. I mean, outstanding. And he just sells it. The arm speed, the arm slot, everything looks just like the fastball. The difference is it's about 12 to 13 miles per hour slower.
Whitaker's 2-2. Fouled away. Season high in pitches for Logan Whitaker is 109 back in March. That was before he missed more than a month, like we said. A little issue they couldn't figure out health-wise for him, but he's been back for over a month now. 2-2. In the air, center field and shallow, and Eli Serrano drifts in. Oh gosh, look out. He's got it. Next to Chase Nixon for the second out. Base is empty for Jack Caglione, and it's today's Capital One rewarding performance.
Cags dropped ahead on one, big fella. 34 homers now, tied for the all-time lead in the history of the University of Florida. And that 3-run homer in the second inning is carrying this team right now. A solo shot by Sheldon for their 5th run, and they're just not even messing with him here with 2 outs and nobody on. And Logan Whitaker not happy about it, Ben. He's not happy about that one. He had to take a little 20-second timeout.
He wants a little piece of cash, doesn't he? Hey, when you're in a zone like that, you feel like you can get anybody out. It doesn't matter who it is. But I think this is clearly the right move.
Second time they've done that, and so it's now 30 in a season. Again, we only have data on intentional walks for these last 8 years. Nobody's ever been intentionally walked more. Here's Ashton Wilson. 2 strikeouts, hit by a pitch and a walk. Hasn't yet put a ball in play in these 2 games through 9 plate appearances here in Omaha.
I mean, it makes the decision much easier. 6 strikeouts, 9 plate appearances.
Cags is running, and Wilson pops this one up into right, and Noah Souls ends the inning, and the decision pays off. So Brandon Neely has got the most strikeouts of any pitcher in the NCAA tournament. Will get the top of the NC State lineup. Serrano and Pennington and Makarevich with the pack back against the wall. Staring down elimination, down a run to the bottom of the ninth.
Here we go, guys.
Eli Serrano, the leadoff man, digging in. First pitch swinging, fouls it away.
Yeah, great time for NC State and Eli Serrano to pick up his first base hit of the College World Series. He would love to do it right here.
Takes down and away on a fastball from Brandon Neely. Serrano, a talented sophomore who is draft eligible. That's up high. Wolfpack clinging to hope with its season on the brink. Elliott Avent leading this group back here for the first time since that 21 ending. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Just so hard to get on top of that ball. It's got some ride through the zone, a little bit of ride, but it's got a lot of left to right in it on that fastball from Neely.
Brandon Neely's ready with a 2-2. Painted. One away.
I mean, forget about it. You take that heater and run it and just shove it to the inside part with 2 strikes, it is money. Watch him just stuff this 4-seamer just right in there, perfectly placed on the inside part of the plate. Eli Serrano caught looking.
2 outs left to play with. Here's Garrett Pennington. Local guy who has now been at 3 schools. His 1 year with NC State has been outstanding. Kansas native has scored 3 runs today. It's a ball and a strike from Neely. Jack Caglione's been intentionally walked twice since his home run, and that looms large in a 1-run game. The 1-1. NC State's got 7 walk-off wins this season, the 3rd most in the country. Only Arizona and Cal have more with 8. Crowd to its feet in Omaha. The 1-2. Yeah! Did he go? Yes. 2 down.
Fastball and first strikeout and an invisible slider. I mean, this thing took a hard right to left and back-to-back strikeouts, and NC State down to their last out.
Well, those are the kind of swings you get, Ben, when guys are getting ready for a heater, right? They've seen the way that fastball is exploding out of the hand of Neely, and Pennington trying to cheat right there and couldn't put on the brakes against that slider.
It's up to Alec Makarevich. He's had one of the best seasons in NC State history. Left East Carolina, his home, to join the pack and help lead them here. 0-2.
Best fastball today, velocity too, 96. Spinning at 2,300 RPM, which is better than big league average spin.
Brandon Neely's 0-2. Left field. At Tyler Shellnuts. It's over. Neely is nails again.
Jack, we were just pointing to the stands. I saw Mom earlier. Dad had to rush here to make it, though, right?
Yeah, he had some work. You know, Mondays aren't, just baseball days for everybody. So he made it when he could. Elimination
games and the Gators go hand in hand. What makes you guys so dangerous?
Honestly, just no quitting this team. We're never out of a ball game. And, yeah, I mean, we just play for each other, and that's what we've been doing this whole postseason. And that's what we're just going to continue to do.
What allows you to flip the switch when it doesn't work out on the mound, but you know you have to come back to the plate?
Yeah, I mean, we worked on that a lot last year. That was a big emphasis of last year, doing both for the first time at this level. So doing it this year was a lot easier. Talking to Chuck and Sully, they were like, you just got to flush it and you got to move on. And I think I did a good job of that.
No one gets more intentionally walked than you. And sometimes you only see a pitch. You told us that. How's your approach at the plate in this game?
They're a really talented team. All their arms are really talented. So, just fighting in and out every AB, every pitch, and taking advantage of the opportunities that I do get.
And how important was your pitching staff to pick you up in this one?
It was huge. Kate Fisher did an amazing job. Clemente held his ground, and Neely being Neely like he has been this whole postseason has been unbelievable. So, I can't thank these guys enough. They deserve all the credit.
A lot of people don't believe in this team. What do you say to them?
I mean, we're here.
Yeah, you are. Congratulations, Jack. Go celebrate.
Thank you.